What's up?
Long time no see.
Long time no see. That was fucking sharp. How are you?
Pretty good. Been good. How about
Good.
yourself?
Pretty good. You know how before we started, when Joe was in here and he was like, "That was a heavy pour," and I was like, "No, it's not." Yeah, I just took a drink, all Morgan. Couldn't taste the Coke. But I didn't like stir it up.
I mean, is it flat Coke?
What do you mean flat Coke?
Well, I didn't know if it was like a week old or something you were pouring into.
Oh, no, 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 no. We just got this out of the vending machine like 5 minutes ago.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Wasn't very
We'll try to
cold
keep this
though.
short before it starts to hit.
Oh, it's I'll be fine. Honestly, with I was in my advisor's office the other day. Was that yesterday? What's today, Wednesday? It was yesterday. And I was like, oh, I have to come up with a research idea for a class I'm in. It's a class that I'm not a huge fan of. Like it's not my style of research, but it's like a core requirement. So that's why I'm taking it. And I walked into her office. She doesn't teach it, someone else does. I walked into her office and I was like, I have to come up with an idea for so and so's class, and I have no ideas. And she looks at me and goes, "That's unusual for you." I was like, "Yeah." I think it's just like the second semester malaise like setting in. So I could use the drink.
I'm not looking at alcohol for a long time.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Is that like a live share story, or is that something you text me after the show to
Um,
elaborate on that?
no, just got together with some friends I hadn't seen for 4 or 5 years out in the beautiful Black Hills of Deadwood, and
Fun.
it was gorgeous out there. Great skiing weather. Checked out Cadillac Jacks had they like revamped their whole casino, which was nice. And yeah, it's just a good weekend. I just don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Deadwood for St. Patrick's Day. Actually, that was COVID year. That was 2020 because I remember we left the Summit League tournament on Tuesday, went back to my parents' house in Mitchell, and Wednesday, because that was our spring break at SDSU. Wednesday, we went out to the hills, had a little ski trip. My cousin flew in from Texas with her best friend. And they hadn't been to Deadwood before. And it will also happen to be St. Patty's Day that weekend. And so we had like gone out in Deadwood.
Bucket list item. I've always wanted to go out there on St. Patty's Day week, like that weekend. I think
It's
those
so
days
much
are
fun.
well behind me now, but I've always wanted to go out there.
I want to do it again because I was going through a breakup at the time and I was not like, I didn't want to be out. I wanted to be in the cabin at the hot tub, like not doing anything. So I would like to do it again when I'm like in a good headspace. I feel like it would be a good time. But you know what else is going to be a good time?
Summer League
The
tournament.
Summit League tournament.
2 weeks.
I'm so excited. Literally. Wait, okay. I was trying to do the math. Is it actually 2? Or is it
Maybe.
3? I think it's 3 because there's 2 weeks of regular season play left, right?
Well,
Well, no, no,
yeah,
no.
but two.
Because
Okay, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from this Friday.
yep, counting this Friday. You're right. You're right.
That's nuts.
Isn't it bonker nuts?
Did
It's
I
crazy.
mention who St. Thomas their pep band, or did I mention that last time that it
Good.
might be? Did I confirm that?
Oh, I thought it was confirmed. Is it confirmed?
Oh, it's confirmed now. It's
Yay. Go
confirmed.
Riders.
So
So excited.
Sioux Falls Roosevelt pep band will be the pep band for it will be the pep band for St. Thomas games if they're on Friday, Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday, not Saturday.
Is there a show car competition that Saturday? That
You
half the
got
pet
it.
band is in the pit for? Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, it has to be because they're in the pit for Sweet and all the other show cars at Rosie. Yeah. Dope.
So I'm
That's
gonna be pretty
awesome. I'm excited.
biased towards a couple of pet bands, obviously, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe if
Not oh, are you? Because their guitar's too loud. We
you'll
love you
have our
guys, but turn it
household
down.
at a St. You'll have our household at a St. Thomas girls game there. see if we can get the
I was going
boys
to
in.
ask, what are you going to do with Gray and Reddick, or are they going to come with?
I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, if we're lucky enough to go, right? It hasn't been confirmed yet, but if we're lucky enough to go, just
Oh, you mean
curious.
us?
Yeah, us too.
Yeah.
Um,
They'd be crazy not to let us in. Come on now.
I know. I feel like we do a decent job lifting up the
Yeah.
league.
I just never want to be too confident. I never want to be
Right.
too confident, but
So I don't know.
yeah.
I kind of want to ask, like, if, you know, my wife's got a pass as like a band person and I've got the media, like, are we able to bring them? If not, I totally get it, but would it be fun to have them there?
It would be super fun to have them there. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's have a chat about where we're at right now. So coming up, after we're just talking about how great of a job we're doing, I don't even have the schedule pulled up.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have said that after
So
me
funny.
not doing the best job of looking at stuff the last week. I forgot it was, well, Wednesday.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, I canceled last week. I was just like, not feeling it. And it's hard. It's been so hard to schedule. This is the hardest like season I've had for like scheduling coaches, basketball or volleyball. And that's no fault of anyone's. It just has not worked out this season. I think when I was teaching full time, my schedule was still set, but it was like a little bit more flexible. And this time my heavy class days are Monday and Tuesday. I have nothing on Wednesday and one class on Thursday, but it's like with a Thursday, Saturday game schedule, we have to put this out Wednesday or Thursday morning at the latest. But if we're going to do it live, even if we're not doing it live, like you and I have to record on Wednesday so I can produce it for Thursday. And so then it's like we have to talk to coaches before we record it live. And Wednesday is my day where I literally just work at home. I leave it open for any meetings that get scheduled or like this stuff. So it's like when I'm so busy on Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm happy to talk to a coach like after 5, 6, 7 p.m. But a lot of our coaches have kids and that time doesn't work for them either. So
Yep.
yeah, it's been really tough in terms of scheduling. I'm hoping to have 1 or 2 next week, but I actually I have 2 planned for next week and I'm hoping for a third. But that still won't get us through.
Getting them scheduled. It's tough. Like, this isn't a part-time job. This is a hobby that we're volunteering time and effort in doing. And you've done a really good job of getting coaches and Summit League reps on. So kudos.
Thanks, Jordan. Okay, so where things sit right now, if the tournament started today, SDSU's at number 1, they're 12-0. Who do they have coming up? They have Denver, St. Thomas, North Dakota State. They have 4 games left. I think they probably go 3-1 in that stretch. Well, no, let me take that back. I think they could go 3-1. I hope that they go 4-0. I think they can go 4-0. But if they were to lose a game, I think it'd very obviously be North Dakota State. They escaped last time. And I do.
That's in Brookings, right? Yeah, that's in Brookings on the.
It is in Brookings. Yep.
Okay.
It is in Brookings. So yeah, SDSU is sitting at the top right now. They would have to lose 2 games and have MDSU win out essentially to be tied. I don't see that happening. So I think they're not technically locked into the 1 seed, but I think it's reasonable to say
if they sweep this weekend and then just doing a double check here, NDSU has 2 games. Yeah, if SDSU goes 2-0 this weekend, they've got it. And we've had this conversation before in years past too, because it's been brought up. Well, if they have it locked in place, do they, take that last game kind of off, get more minutes for everyone else? It's like, yeah, they probably will, but it's only going to be if they're winning by 25 in the second half. Like he's not going to try to sacrifice or anything to lose the undefeated. Like there's too much good pride in that. Like I don't blame him for
he's
not doing that.
never been one to do that either. And I think like all coaches are going to say like, oh, one game at a time, or, 1-0, blah, blah, whatever. But like AJ, and I think most coaches in our league truly mean that when they say that, but AJ very much is like, today is today, no yesterday, no tomorrow. Like he's not going to be,
and Madison, I don't think we're in a league where you can take a game off if you're expecting to be in the NCAA tournament. Like if they lose to a lesser team, honestly, like because they're the top team, if they lose to a lesser team at all, it's going to drop them a seed in the tournament come tournament time.
And the non-conference was not as strong as we've seen it in years past. Was not scheduled as strong nor executed as strong as we've seen it in years past. So they have no room to be screwing around.
I'm just looking up, and I mean Charlie's latest bracketology.
Yeah, go ahead and find that.
Yeah, give me about 30 seconds here.
That's fine. I'll talk NDSU while you're doing that. So NDSU is currently sitting second. They are 10-2 on a 5-game win streak. Their league losses came at Oral Roberts. That was a 9-point loss about a month ago. And then at the beginning of February, what is that? That's a 7-point loss to South Dakota State in Fargo. So they have St. Thomas, North Dakota, USD, and then SDSU coming up for their next 4.
They've been playing like,
do you find it
really, really well? Yeah. So really quick, back to state. SDSU is projected to be back in Syracuse. Was that where their first Sweet 16 game was? Or the only one? I don't know.
Their Sweet 16 game was in Oregon, I think. They won in Syracuse to get to the Sweet 16, right?
I can't remember. I think you're right, though. I think that's it. For some reason, Syracuse sticks out. But they're the 12 seed playing the 5 seed Indiana. And then the other pairing is Syracuse against Fairfield, the 4-13 matchup. So that was as of yesterday.
And you said that's in Syracuse?
Yep.
Wow, the air is not being friendly tonight. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. You said that was in Syracuse?
Yeah. Yep. And then in Syracuse.
Guess what? That's in driving distance for me. I mean, yeah, if I get approved, I'm crossing my fingers. That I was just thinking about that earlier today. And also, if they were to make, I assume that region would go to the Albany regional then.
Nope, Portland. They're in the
that
Portland
makes
region.
0 sense.
I know.
Okay, well now I'm pissed.
So in the Portland bracket, the 4 cities are there are 4 host sites, I should say: Stanford, Syracuse, Los Angeles, and Austin. So you've got like 2 Austin and then Syracuse.
I will quite literally, Chris Traeger literally never understand regionalization. It is a crock of crap. Anyway.
Charlie's also been known to not really be super accurate with some of this stuff.
Accurate? You know, like how he pretty much never knows what he's talking about with our league? Is that what you're referring to?
That is exactly what I am referring. Like the Albany region. Oh, there's 2. Wait. Oh, they only moved. There's only 2 Final Four. Hold on. Why am I dumb? I'm seeing a Portland, 2 Portlands and 2 Albanys. Why?
Yep. So that's what I was saying. So there's the Sweet 16 will have 8 teams in Portland and 8 teams in Albany. Those are regional host sites. So that's what I was asking about that Syracuse pod.
Oh, yeah, then it definitely doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Portland, you have Stanford, Syracuse, LA, Austin, Iowa, Baton Rouge, Boulder, and Raleigh. But you have Manhattan, Kansas, and Albany. Okay, that's fine. Weird. Okay.
Weird. Yeah. We're gonna break all this down in our projected. Yeah. We'll break all this down in our whatever episode. It'll be after Summer League tournament episode. Oh, we have 2 people. My lovely husband says, yes, we want Syracuse to make the Sweet 16. And Harry Giesler also is confirming that. So thank you, friends. We appreciate that very much. Okay. I love that people are watching us. This is amazing. We have fans. Maybe they're not fans. Maybe they're just putting up with us. I mean, that's fine too.
Appreciate the support nonetheless.
Yeah. I was talking to someone yesterday who had said, I made some comment about like, oh yeah, I call the shots all the time. And they were like, not all the time, just sometimes. And I was like, no, all the time. Ask my husband. They were like, how does he deal? And I was like, he knew what he was getting into. And he's still here. So dude's tough. He can handle it. Okay. Oral Roberts, who is our feature tonight. You'll hear from Coach Kelsi Musick later. They sit at 8-5. Their league losses, twice to South Dakota State, once to North Dakota State, once on a Jade Hill buzzer beater at St. Thomas very early in the season, and one that they probably would prefer not to talk about, to Denver. Not to take anything away from Denver. I think Oral Roberts ran out of gas a little, but also to hype up Denver. I can't remember if we talked about this game or not, because I think we took the week off after this happened. Yeah, we might have to go pull stats from that. Denver was so hungry. So hungry. And I know I'm biased because I'm friends with Dosha and I root for the underdog and blah, 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 whatever. I don't care. Denver was so hungry. They're so talented. And yes, they have upperclassmen on that team, but they're running everything through sophomores. Literally everything goes through Emma Smith and Jordan Jones. And they finally, I'm just happy for them that they like finally put it together and they beat a team that was a contender and still is a contender. I think Oral Roberts is very much still a contender. If they catch NDSU on a not perfect day or SDSU on a not perfect day, it's going to be absolute madness. So happy for Denver that they got that win. Sorry, what?
Sorry. Denver's lost 4 in a row since that win against
They have.
ORU.
I know.
Oof.
I was saying ORU is going to be a contender, not Denver.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Anyways,
that
was
offense,
a good win.
I mean, that offense is going to be – it's been consistent pretty much all season, especially in conference play. Like, that's still scary come March because if they catch fire, we've seen it before in the Denny. Like, that's an unbeatable offense if they can click like they've shown they can.
1,000%. And you'll hear this in the interview later. There are 2 players, according to conference-only stats, there are 2 players in the league who have dropped a 30-piece twice. And they're both ORU Golden Eagles. Insane. And they did it. One of them was in the same game, too. Actually, in that loss to Denver, Hannah Cooper and Talia Jones. One had like 31 and one had 30, I think, or 32-30, something like that. Oral Roberts, so as they sit in the 3 spot, I can't confirm or deny, nothing is locked. I think they're probably going to end up staying there. Who they have coming up is Omaha, USD, Kansas City. That USD game, well, okay, they're all important. But what we talked about in the interview, my husband, look at this man. I'm just here for Jordan. That's okay. Love you too.
Thanks,
I
Joe.
can't even. It's so funny. All 3 of these games are important. I argue because of what we talked about in the interview. The Omaha game is important because Omaha's 4th in the league in offense. They're the only team. If USD has a good day, I would include them. But Omaha's the only team who consistently, I think, is going to be a threat to keeping up with ORU's offense. So I think that game's important. Omaha also almost beat ORU last time. It is a 10-point game if you look at the box score, but it was like a 4-point game until literally the last 90 seconds. So I don't take that at face value. But I think the game that's really important for ORU is the USD game. ORU's in 3rd. They're sitting at 8-5. USD's in 4th at 7-5. Who USD has coming up, let's see. They have 4 left. Kansas City, Oral Roberts, North Dakota State, and North Dakota.
Oof.
USC had a close game with Kansas City. They're probably going to have to fight really hard against Oral Roberts. North Dakota State's going to be tough. I really only see like one guaranteed win out of that for USD.
I mean, it's not up or shut up time. Like, I listen, I was out of town and not with any technology necessarily on or access to it on Thursday. And when I got back and saw that they had lost on Thursday to Omaha, what team are we going to get now? Like we've kind of talked about that, but it's like, what team are we going to get? Are they going to beat Oral Roberts by 20? Are they going to lose to Kansas City this time? I don't know. It's not ideal to be in the 4 or 5 spot because of the semifinal matchup with SDSU. I'd rather that be on a Tuesday, but here we are. If ORU wins one, like I think they've got the 3 seed pretty locked up because they would sit at 9 and 5. Well, I suppose it depends because if they beat USD, they for sure got it locked up. I don't think it matters.
That's what I'm saying. That is the one. Like Omaha is important for ORU for the extra padding, but the USD game is the one. It's the must win. You mentioned like not knowing what USD team you're gonna get. I'm gonna not go in order here and jump down to Kansas City. Kansas City's 2-10. I don't know what Kansas City team we're gonna get because on one hand, they're 2-10. They're guaranteed to go to Sioux Falls. What's the point, right? On the other hand, that 2-10, if a few games had gone the other way, could arguably be a 4-6 or a 5-7, which I mean is still not fantastic, but like it's better. And also on the other hand, Mallory Bernhardt said something in the presser last year at the Summit League tournament. And she said, it was referring to Kansas City having like 7 active players or whatever it was. And she was like, well, yeah, you're going to play loose if you can't get yanked. Right. And like, sure, Kansas City has a full bench now, but they can't get yanked mentality. Like, there's no reason for them to play uptight. They know they're going to Sioux Falls. Sure, they're at the bottom of the league, but everyone is going. Everyone gets there. So why not like play those games with a different mindset? So we might get the Kansas City that doesn't care, but I actually think we're going to get the Kansas City that's like, look, we could have won X amount of games that were really close. And like, maybe this is their opportunity to pick up the pace of the momentum going into Sioux Falls. But I don't know.
Still a shot anything to get out of that
I say, yeah, that sounds like mildly legit or positive, like always ends up being disproven. So I don't know. But yeah, anyways, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna mention like they're technically Kansas City and Omaha aren't out of it yet to get up to that 7 and 8 spot.
Yeah.
And the UND's played one more game than them, so they've got, or I should rephrase that. They've played one less game. Kansas City has played one less game, so 3 games with 4 to go. It's possible. Anything is possible.
Or does Kansas City have 4 to go? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard to remember who has.
Kansas City, St. Thomas, USD, SDSU, NDSU are the only ones with 12 games. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams have played 12. 4 teams have played 13, which I guess makes sense. There's only 4 game days left to go. So one team is sitting out each day.
So I'm so interested to see Omaha, I think for sure is going to be in that 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Who do they have left? Hold on. Hold your horses.
Tough.
Well, they have ORU. Yeah. Yep. But also, like,
well,
I don't know. I don't think Omaha is going to beat ORU tomorrow. It is in Tulsa, so that's like to be considered. I do think they have a real good shot. They played them so tough last time. Like there was not a point where I was like, Omaha's for sure going to lose this game last time until like the last 45 seconds.
Free t-shirt to whoever can guess what time all games start tomorrow.
Are you designing the t-shirt and paying for it? Because I'm broke as shit.
Absolutely not.
Okay, well then don't be offering stuff that we can't fulfill.
Sponsored by no one.
Have you seen Grace and Frankie
Grace and Frankie, I have not.
on Netflix? Oh my gosh, watch it. It's hysterical. There's this episode where they're running a business, and I'm not going to specify like the item that they sell, but Frankie is like high as hell, and she gets on like Facebook or Twitter, whatever, live, and she offers free donuts and free like one of these products to like the first 50,000 like people of their like fans or followers or whatever. And Grace comes back from a trip and she's like, bro, we can't produce this, let alone pay for it. We can't like we cannot mass produce 50,000 donuts. And Frankie's like baking donuts at 3 a.m. and like letting yeast rise. It's insane. It just made me think of that when you were like, no, I'm not going to pay for it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do it. So don't
Just
be
start
going rogue
naming
on
off
me.
random businesses with like free items and then telling them, oh yeah, you're sponsoring this segment of our podcast now.
You know how like SDSU, I think probably UND and NDSU have the Buffalo Wild Wings thing?
Yeah.
The like free throws. Okay, somebody, I cannot remember for the life of me. It might have been someone in the league. Has that with Qdoba, and I was like, oh heck yeah. Like screw B-dubs. I want free Qdoba. So bad. I miss Qdoba. We don't have it here.
Free chips and queso?
It's something. I read for burrito, I think. I can't remember.
Jesus.
But yeah, we don't have Doba here. And it's my absolute like I hate Chipotle. You know the line from Moneyball where they're like, there are rich teams and there are poor teams, and there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's us. I've used that so many times to describe when someone's like, you don't like Chipotle? And I'm like, listen, there are good Mexican restaurants, there are bad Mexican restaurants. Then there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's Chipotle. I don't eat Chipotle. It's Doba for me. And Pancheros, but mostly Doba.
Pancheros is pretty good. I'm just glad USD.
I also don't mind Doba. Doba's so good.
Oh man, they had Chick-fil-A and Qdoba in the Students Union Center there. After I left, of course, but
everything's after we leave. Just like how the year after I graduated high school, the state golf tournament was in Mitchell, and I was like, dumb. And you know what's even dumber? It was supposed to be in Mitchell my senior year, but like 2 years prior, Pierre flooded, their golf course flooded. So they were like, oh, let's just squeak back into the rotation. So I had to play at Hillsview instead of getting to play at my home course when I was a senior. And then the freshmen or the seniors, when I was a freshman in college, the same year they were finally allowed to use rangefinders, and also moved the tournament back to June because finally, when I was like graduation weekend, May 18th, it was 32 and sleeting at Rapid City at Meadowbrook at like the toughest course in the state. And they were like, this is dumb for May. So let's move it back. Let's let them use rangefinders and we'll put it back in Mitchell finally. I was like, this is bogus.
This is not the game I know and love.
Yeah, this is not what I paid for. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on.
That
I do think
break was brought to you by no one.
Not brought to you by no one. I do think Omaha's probably, I don't know if it's going to be 8 or 9. They're going to end up in the 8 or 9 game, or the 8 and 9 game, probably with Kansas City. I'm trying to remember. They lost to Kansas City the first time. They play them again Saturday. So we'll have to see how that goes. Those two teams may be very familiar with each other come Summit League tournament time.
The Saturday, sorry, Madison, really quick. The Saturday matchups might be my favorite that we've had. And I know it's because it's coming down to the end of the season. But, like, the Saturday matchups this Saturday might be one of my favorites I've seen this year. Just because of, like, seeding and seeing where these teams are at. And there's a rivalry game in there. Like, SDSU against St. Thomas. St. Thomas is a good team. They're vying for seeding as well. USD, Oral Roberts, as you mentioned, Kansas City, Omaha, seeding implications there, and then North Dakota State. Like, you get a rivalry game that North Dakota's fighting to get as high as they can in the standings too, and NDSU has a shot, a long shot, albeit, but a shot at the 1 seed, but for sure to stay solidified at that 2. Like, that's going to be fun, and I'm glad that they're a little bit staggered. on the start times, 1, 2, 2, 4. So just want to sneak that in
So
there.
for me, that's 2, 3, 3, 4. Okay. I always have to do like mental gymnastics with the time zone, even though it's only an hour. It's still, especially when there's like 2 games that start at the same time, or like a 1:00, a 2:00 Central. I will always be like, okay, the first one starts at 2, and then I'll be like, why aren't there 3 games on right now? And then I'm like, oh yeah, because 3:00 Central. Like
Do
it
you have
always.
the schedule, the league schedule pulled up? Am I reading this right? That the USD
I
Oral
can pull it
Roberts
quick.
game on Saturday is not on the Summit League Network?
Yeah, so I saw that um
That's
when I
not
was
ideal.
doing. So okay, but I don't know if that's accurate because Omaha's schedule doesn't always say Summit League Network, but it always is Summit League Network. So I'm not sure, but actually, what is this, February 24th on the league? Yeah, it says it's Tulsa local.
Nor is
Fox
the
Cable.
Oral Roberts game on Thursday. That doesn't even have TV
See,
on it.
you're right. Well, I do have my iPad right here. Let me just pull up Midco and see if they have the why is it rotated like that? See if they
There
have
must be
the.
something going on where that they're just unable to be in Tulsa. Maybe students are on a break. I don't know. Do they do 3
But they don't.
terms?
No, I don't think so. I think ORU is a semester school. But all of these, even though they're through Midco, these are local crews. It's really only the Dakotas that get like the J. Elsons or whatever that travel.
Mm-hmm.
But like anyone from Kansas City, Denver, like those are going to be local crews. So what day is that? February 24th?
Yeah.
What time is that game?
That one is.
It's right here. It's on
2:00.
the Midco Plus app. The Midco
Okay.
app has it.
I mean, it
February
would make
24th
sense
too.
that they picked it up, but
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back and chat about St. Thomas. They're 6-6, sitting in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spot right now. I think they're probably going to stay there. I don't see UND overtaking them in any way. Their league losses came to South Dakota State, USD, the Torrey to Perry game. I remember that. Literally 2 days after they beat ORU on a buzzer beater, they get beat on a buzzer beater. That's gotta sting. NDSU, they lost to pretty bad. I think I remember that week. I was like, oh, St. Thomas just had 2 buzzer beaters. Like, they're so good this year. And then they absolutely got trashed at NDSU. And I was like, yikes. USD. No, just kidding. Okay. Hold on. SDSU, USD, NDSU. 3-game win streak. And then ORU, 80-73. That was fairly close. Denver was a 6-point game. And USD was a 14-point game. They have NDSU, SDSU, that's probably 2 losses, and then Omaha and Denver. So I can see St. Thomas finishing 8-8, I think. 2 losses and then 2 wins.
Yeah, I think they are a 500 team. I don't see those last 4 that you mentioned. I think that's a solid 2-2 finish to the year.
Yeah, it's also worth noting St. Thomas conference record has improved every year. And if they finish 8-8, that also will be an improvement again. I would have to go back and see what their conference record was last year. I want to say they had 5 conference wins, so I think actually they've already surpassed that no matter what. But don't quote me on that. So if they stayed in the 5 spot as it sits right now, they would get USD.
Yep.
And really, even if they surpassed USD in the standings, they would still get USD, I think.
Yeah,
because
I'm
yeah,
pretty sold on the USD and St. Thomas first round matchup.
yeah,
I
4 and
think
5.
that's
Not sure in what order, but it'll be
I think that's
those
definitely going to
teams.
be the Saturday. No, wait, Sunday. That's a Sunday, isn't it? The 4 seed. 3 and 4 play
Yes.
on 3, 4, 5, 6 play Sunday.
Yep, 3 and 6 at 12:30, 4 and 5 at 3.
Well, great. On the women's side, I can't lose because if the Yotes win, great. If St. Thomas wins, then the Roosevelt Pep Band gets to play another day.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, come on. How selfless
That'll be
is
an
that of
interesting
me?
one. I'm honestly okay, so not to go on a tangent, but you know me. Last year, I was low key upset at St. Thomas getting to come to the conference tournament because like they can't play in the NCAA tournament. And I do understand like getting them the postseason experience, but it's like teams lost to them, teams that admittedly were probably not going to make the NCAA tournament, but like their shot was not taken away, but like because they lost to a team that happens to be not NCAA eligible, like they're now out of the race. And for me, I was like, that's a little unfair. You know, like I don't necessarily agree with it. I think partially getting to know the people and also partially just seeing like I think I was a little bit in that group that was like D3 to D1 is wild, you know? Like wild. Like there's just no way. They're damn good. They're
Mm-hmm.
good. And to have Jordan Glenn, like to have one person stay through the transition, she's the only D3 like remaining player. And also to hear like I think Maggie Nygaard and someone else in the presser said, coach runs our practices like a D1 practice. Like she was doing that when we were in D3. Like quite literally nothing has changed for us. I'm kind of excited for them, you know? I wish their tournament eligibility was coming sooner. I think that would give them something a little bit more to play for. But they're like holding feet to the fire on some of these teams, and I'm excited to see what they do. So that's
Not to
my
jump the
St.
other
Thomas
side, but
symbol.
the men's are too. Like they're both
Yeah,
teams' growth. I think the men's has gone a little bit like bigger steps each year, but the women they're still going in the right direction. Like there's been no slowing down, which is scary.
yeah.
Because which will help with
You know what?
recruiting in the Twin Cities area and in the state of Minnesota, which is scary because we know there's a lot of great talent that comes out of that state.
Well, and Ruth has said that too, and I'm sure Dawn has said it too. I don't like have confirmation on that, but it seems like that's the consensus. Like if we can get these kids to stay home, whether it's the Gophers, whether it's St. Thomas, like
Yep.
it's gonna be wild what these programs are gonna be able to do. So I'm excited.
Maybe
I would love to
maybe
see,
Dawn will
sorry, go ahead.
schedule St. Thomas the same year that Amy down in Nebraska schedules USD.
That's literally what I was going to say. Is I would love to see Dawn schedule St. Thomas. Did you see that Amy Williams was named in a lawsuit?
Yeah, I did.
I don't like to gossip. I apologize, but you said her name and I was like, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, she was just named. It's not necessarily like primarily against her, but anyways. Okay, North Dakota's 5-8. This is a tough one for me. I just wish it would have gone better for them.
They've got 3 great opportunities though. It's tough
They
to
do.
end the year. I mean, God, if they can go 2-1, they've got the Dakota schools left, NDSU, SDSU, USD. But if they can go
I
two
don't
and
see 2
one,
and 1 there, Jordan.
I know I don't either, but
Do you really? I was going to say, do you realistically see a 2 and 1 there?
realistically, like with my head, I see 0-3. With my
I see
heart,
0 and 3.
I want to see 2-1 with my heart because I think they're talented enough to do it. They just, yeah.
You're not going to like this, but I think USD is their best opportunity.
How did that game go last
think
time?
53-69.
I mean, just
but
picking
it
out of
was
those
closer
three,
than
sure. Like that down in Vermilion, but
I think
because
I think sorry, I can't tell when you're talking because the internet's being dumb. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nope, you're fine. I was just saying my computer
I
froze.
think there are opportunities with North Dakota State because it's a rivalry game. Like there's always an opportunity there. But I don't know. I would love, because of like the beef with Jory at the end of the game last time, I would love to see Mallory go up there and torch him. I would love to see that shit happen in the shack, but North Dakota State's playing too well. They're too talented. UND's very talented too. Like I don't want to take anything away. They're just not cohesive. You cannot succeed when you're not cohesive, and they're just not. It's just not all there.
Then
for
again,
me. So
Omaha beats USD, Denver beats ORU. Who knows what can happen?
See, the Denver ORU, you're gonna think this is biased because I'm a Jackrabbits. Like, of course, I like don't want USD to win all the time, but like the Denver ORU is more shocking to me than Omaha USD. But I also think that Omaha has had a couple of those games like Kansas City has had where they're just not quite. They put together 3 3/4 of a game, but like not quite 4 complete quarters or whatever. But we've also seen USD do that several times. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Who's next? Denver. Denver is 4-9. Has not gone great. They've had their opportunities. They have SDSU, Kansas City, St. Thomas. Dosha's going to tell you she sees 3 really good opportunities. She's very like, let's go 1-0 today, which I mean, most coaches are. I see 3 good opportunities to improve and develop as a team. I see 1.5 to 2 opportunities to get a win based on what I've seen. I think Kansas City, well, how did that go last time? 65-50? Yeah. I can see a win at Kansas City. It's also in Kansas City, though, so that's something to note. They have St. Thomas at home. Yeah. They have St. Thomas at home. How's St. Thomas on the road? Do you know? Can you find out?
6-6.
Is that overall?
Yeah, that's overall.
Okay. I could see St. Thomas being a win. I could see it, but I think it would be close. So I don't know. I think Denver probably stays. Let's see, where are they at? 4-9.
Kansas City finishes with 3 home games. That's ideal.
Yeah. You know, if UND goes 0-3, that puts them at what, 5-11?
11.
If Denver gets 1 win, that puts them at 5-11.
I don't know who'd have the tiebreaker.
UND would. They beat them twice.
UND.
Yep, they beat them twice. Denver would need 2 wins to move ahead of UND.
Next week's episode is going to be fire.
If let's say UND loses out and Denver goes 2-1 by the grace of God, that puts Denver in the 6 and gives them ORU. Yeah. Do you know how wild that would be?
Oh boy, we'd get a Denver.
Okay.
What? Denver NDSU semifinal?
The way I just got so excited, like, listen, is Denver gonna go 2-1? Probably not. I go so hard for Denver anyway because I love them so much. I'm gonna go so hard for Denver this weekend. So freaking
I
hard
just,
for Denver.
like I've said before too, is if a lower seed gets an upset, like I'm talking like the 6 or 7 and really the 8, but if a lower seed gets an upset and they have to play one of the South Dakota schools, now it won't happen necessarily this year with USD because they'll more than likely end up at the 4. But when they've been the 2 or 3 seed, right? Like those teams that are outside of the South Dakota schools, they aren't intimidated. Like, especially if they get an upset that first round, they are out for blood. They don't care how many people are in the seats wearing red and blue. Like, they're out for blood. They thrive off of it. They're like, come on,
Mhm.
make some more. We've seen it before. Like they welcome it. They're like playing the villain. Like they're a villain in Madison Square Garden. See it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Kansas City
No, I'm not
is 2
saying
and
that a
10.
7 seed is going to make it to the semifinals this year, but you never know.
Dude, who knows though? Kansas City did as the 10 with 7
That's
active
right.
girls. I mean, who like literally Sioux Falls is a minefield. Like you just don't know what's gonna happen.
We sleep
And
in
I will
May.
always die on that hill, right? Huh?
We sleep in May.
We sleep in May. Yeah. I will always die on that hill because like could I have predicted what Kansas City was going to do last year? No, but I told people they were coming. I told people they were going to be ready and people literally said I was insane. And then I was like, told you. That's all I got to say. To speak of Kansas City, as you mentioned, they finished with 3 out of 4 games at home. They host USD tomorrow. That's an opportunity for them. I think
Mhm.
they travel to Omaha. That's an opportunity for them. They host Denver. That's an opportunity for them. And they host Oral Roberts. I could see Kansas City going 3-1 these next 2 weeks. I think more likely is probably a 2-2 or 1-3, but they definitely have a very real shot to go 3-1.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'd like to see them go 2-2, but I don't think they're 1-10 on the road this season. So picking them to win in Omaha, like I don't know, that's tough. And being at home against a team like USD is helpful with the pressure that they give USD. But going to Omaha is going to be a tall task,
How
based just how they played on the road.
Well, and also how Omaha plays at home, right? Almost beating
Yeah.
Oral Roberts happened at home. Um, how is Denver on the road? Do you have that handy?
Yep. Denver is not much better. 2-11 on the road.
So maybe they pick up wins over USD and Denver and they lose to Omaha and ORU. And that
Possible.
would put them at 4-12. In that case, even if they did that, I honestly think Kansas City and Omaha are going to flip. I think Kansas City will probably be the 9 and Omaha will be the 8. Won't matter because they're going to play each other anyway. Well, I mean, it will matter in terms of who
Jersey color.
they play next. So if Omaha's the 8, they're going to get, and they beat Kansas City, then they would get South Dakota State on Saturday. If they're the 9 and they beat Kansas City, oh, no, they're both going to get South Dakota State. Just kidding. So it actually doesn't matter because that's the play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it literally doesn't matter. I mean, it's good for morale, but they're going to play each other on Friday at the Sun League tournament, and whoever wins is going to play SDSU. So let's talk about Omaha. That's what we have left. They're 2-11. The only reason they're below Kansas City is because they played one more game and lost one more game. They have ORU, Kansas City, and St. Thomas coming up. I see Omaha going 1-2 or 2-1. But I don't know. Sorry, I got mascara in my eye and now it's like watering. I'm not crying. I see 1-2 or 2-1. I don't know who they win to or win it over and who they lose to though.
I'm gonna go with 2-1. I think they win against Kansas City and St. Thomas.
And lose to Oral Roberts.
You lose to ORU.
I think they're more likely to beat ORU. I was thinking they beat ORU in Kansas City and lose to St. Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see that. I just think the home going on the road is tough. And once again, that's another team that is 2-11 on the road.
This is burning so bad.
Don't cry because the episode's almost over. Smile because it happened.
I'm crying because you're so ugly, Jordan.
This is truth.
No, I had something in my eye, so I itched it, and then I itched mascara into my eye, and now it's just watering. And also, my ring light is so bright. So we should actually.
Good thing we got to the end of the standings.
I know, and it took us 50 minutes. I always say, let's be so quick. We're never quick. Okay, so here's the dealio. We have 2 weeks of league play left, starting tomorrow, Saturday, and then next Thursday, next Saturday, and that be it. So come to Sioux Falls. We want to see you there. We think we're going. We hope the league approves our media credential. Don't know why they wouldn't, because we're fabulous. But
reply to the video with hashtag get them credentialed. I'm just kidding.
Get them credentialed.
That nobody wants to spell out.
Everybody email Ryan Powell and tell him that you will stop purchasing tickets to the tournament if we're not there. Just kidding. Please don't do that. He would not be happy with an influx of emails.
Tell him that if we get media credentials, I'll stop complaining about mirrored schedules.
Are we really going to do that? Can we really commit to that?
Not a chance in hell. I'm a fan that wants to see it gone, so it is my right to have an opinion like that.
Not a chance. I will say, nearing the end of the season, overall, happy with Midco Sports Plus. I have a few complaints. I would like 4 viewing screens instead of 3. I would like to be logged in on 4 devices at once. I also would like the thing that Apple and YouTube TV have, like the 4 box view. I would like that implemented. A few technical things, but I think most of those are on the school's end and not Midco's end. But I don't have too many complaints. It's affordable, and I'm broke as hell. But it's affordable. It's something I'm willing to pay for. I think they do a great job. I love the Midco guys and the Midco girlies. They're great. I can't wait to see them all in Sioux Falls.
I ditto everything you said. All the professionalism and the quality that they provide, it outweighs all of the minor things that we want. But from a fan experience, those are definitely valid improvements that we hope happens. But like you said, I can't wait to hopefully see some of them, and we're so lucky to have them as TV folks for the league.
Yes. That's something that I actually cannot stress enough, is how lucky we are to have the company that we have in Midco and the people, the broadcasters that we have in Midco. Some people ain't got that. Some people are Western Illinois. And
you're right. And even the color commentary guys, the analysts, that you've got stats guys, the production guys, you watch all those production of the Summit League tournament, it's top notch. So it's cool that we've got that from the truck to the booth. It's the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right. My eye's watering so bad, and it's actually starting to get gray from my mascara. So we're going to go. We will be back next week live with hopefully 1 confirmed guest, hopefully 3. That would be amazing. So watch Summit League basketball, tweet at us. Don't be mean though, but we want to hear your opinions, and stick around for this interview with Kelsi Musick. It's not super long. You're not going to want to miss it. Okay, bye. Welcome back to Reaching the Summit. We are joined today by ORU head women's basketball coach, Kelsi Musick. Coach, thanks for joining us again today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to jump right in. Simply put, this program has changed directions faster than a tornado under your leadership. It's wild, the turnaround that you've kind of been able to accomplish. About a month ago, you were 15-5. That was the best start in 42 years. 11-0 at home up to February 10th. And last year you talked about just kind of getting your team to buy in to a new coach and a new system. How has that buy-in been able to help you be so successful this season?
You know, we signed 10 new players this year. We retained 3 from last season's squad. So I think with bringing in so many new faces and people that truly do fit our system, because we do run a system here with the dribble drive, I think it's just really kind of taken off. That we've got a really solid group of players who are helping lay this foundation as we build this program kind of from the ground up, and just make kind of, the culture, changing a little bit of everything, honestly, from the culture to the way we do things, to the way we run our program, all of the above. It's been awesome to just see the change. And like you said, it has happened fast. I don't know that anyone really expected us to be able to be as successful as we have been. We still have big goals and things we want to do and reach. So we're not done, but at the end of the day, we have, really made that change this year. And I think by bringing in, like I said, those 10 new players that we've signed that are really have been impactful, it's just been a great season so far. I'm always, as a coach, you can always nitpick and find something to fix. But at the end of the day, they really have bought in. They're playing hard. They do genuinely like each other, which is awesome on and off the floor. But they bought into our culture. They bought into our program. They want to be at ORU. They want to play for us. And it's definitely shown on the court.
Yeah, well, and like you said, not sure that anybody really expected that, right? You definitely made a run at some teams last year. But getting into my next question, you've kind of had to redesign your offense a little bit. We lost Delaney Nix, Lauren Ramey, Ariel Walker, and then the Moores transfer out on top of that. And you're really left with Hannah Cooper as someone that people know. But then this year, she's kind of taken a step back as you've brought in Talia Jones, and we'll get to Jones in a minute. But can you talk a little bit about Cooper's just leadership and willingness to kind of take on a new role in your offense?
I think Hannah can score at all 3 levels at any time, but I think when we assembled this new team and we've got her some new teammates, she really did embrace the fact that she is a 5th year, that she is a senior, that she is a leader, and she can score, but she also can distribute as well. Last year, she had such the burden of scoring the majority of our points night in and night out, and that can be draining. But I think this year she's embraced the fact that, hey, I can go get 30 if I need to, but I can also pass the ball. I can share it. I can get it where we need to as well. And she kind of drives this program and has been a huge foundation layer for us in that aspect. But, the one thing about Hannah, she's a kind of a silent leader. She's not really vocal. She's not really loud, but she gets it done with her actions. She's a phenomenal teammate on and off the floor, and just a quality person, just a high character kid that, anyone would want to help, begin or run your program.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that she can drop 30 if she needs to, and she has. There are 2 players in the league in conference only that have dropped 30 pieces twice, and they're both yours, Hannah Cooper and Talia Jones. And Jones is where we're going next. She averaged just under 9 points a game, I think, at Arlington. She's doubled that in your offense. So can you just kind of talk about the contributions that she makes and how she's been able to explode?
Man, she could just really score it. She has that mid-range, but she has a great first step, and she can also shoot the 3 ball. I just think that she's so dynamic with the basketball in her hands. And, at that 2-guard position for us, she kickstarts the offense. So we try to get the ball to the right side of the floor, obviously. Everyone knows that. And she can but she can also pass. But at the end of the day, you let her get past you and she's going to score at the rim. She has, she can get fancy if she needs to, but at the end of the day, she can put the basketball in the hole. And she's just, this offense fits her. it's awesome to have her be able to be back at home. You know, she's from Broken Arrow, to be right here in the Tulsa area, to be able to come home, to be around her family, to be around her little sister. I know that has been a blessing for her, but she's been a blessing for us. Like I said, she fits ORU. I mean, she's a quality, high character kid as well. She's really hard on herself. So, you know, if she doesn't have a great game, she's really hard on herself, but she always finds a way to bounce back. You know, she's always in it. She wants to do what you ask of her. She really does. You know, and the one thing I always say about her too is what a lot of people don't see is she has to score points for us, but she's also usually guarding the best player on the other end of the floor. That's not easy. I mean, you know, and she's averaging a lot of minutes too. So let's say she averages, you know, close to 40 minutes a game. She's having to guard the best player and then turn around and get buckets for us. That's not an easy thing. So I definitely give her praise in that aspect as well, because she has to find a way to get it done on both ends of the floor for us. And she always rises to the challenge.
Absolutely. She's going to be fun to watch over the next couple of years. We really could talk about every player in a uniform, but I also want to give you a chance to talk about Arkansas Tech transfer Jaylee Oglesby. She hasn't necessarily stuffed the stat sheets, but she's always kind of there and someone that makes plays in clutch moments. So what value has she brought to your lineup?
Man, what a spark off the bench. I mean, she's pulled a lot of double doubles, and she's only started a few games for us. People probably think I'm a little bit crazy, but she is that spark. She has that mid-range jumper when teams have gone to the zone, because our 3-point percentage isn't as good as it needs to be. She comes in and we find ways to get her the ball in that mid-range, and I call her Jaylee Jumper. Man, she can make that jump shot any day, and she's hard to guard down the lane lines. She's really, you know, she's still like what I think the third leading scorer in the state of Oklahoma. She knows how to put the basketball in the hole, and she wants the ball, and she's not going to shy away from any of those tough moments when we need to score. She's really upped her defense. Obviously, she's been able to score, but I feel like she's bought into the system. She works hard. She's gotten better on the defensive end of the floor. But she just brings something, and I think the other thing that she brings is some maturity. Even though she's only a sophomore, she's already graduated. She has a degree. She's just been through a lot of injuries. So she's faced adversity with injuries. And for her to be able to really, you know, be healthy, to be able to play a season, and she really does fit what we do. And, you know, it's kind of nice to have someone from the Great American Conference come here and be successful for us.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys sit at 8-5 right now in the conference. Everyone knows that I don't really like to take a record at face value. If we break that down, 2 losses to the top team in the league, 1 to the number 2 team in the league, and 1 on a Jade Hill buzzer beater, that stuff's going to happen. But you said yourself, you know, you can always nitpick. What are some things that you're looking to improve on or piece together better as we kind of wind down and get ready to head to Sioux Falls?
You know, I think we have to be better road warriors. We have to play better on the road. Obviously, the conference tournament's on the road, so we really have to focus. And I felt like coming off that loss at North Dakota State, they really did respond well at North Dakota. I thought that my team really did kind of buy in and accept the challenges that I gave them, because I wasn't pleased with their effort for 40 minutes. I wasn't pleased with the way that we executed. You know, we had moments, but we didn't execute at the rate in which we needed. I think at this point, we have to be able to put 4 whole quarters together. We have to play 40 minutes together. We're not very good defensively if we're not a unit. So that's one thing we have to really hone in on. We could obviously score a lot of points. Even on a bad night, we find ways to score close to 80, but we have to score at a higher rate. We've got to have those 5 to 6 different players hitting those double digits, because that's when we're really clicking on all cylinders. And we have that capability to go into our bench with our scoring load, but we've got to transfer that to the defensive end of the floor and be able to get stops, get some transition buckets. But I would say being road warriors, being able to compete and, you know, play our style and our game for 40 minutes, for 4 entire quarters, especially going into these last 3 games and primarily for the conference tournament.
Absolutely. Well, kind of to go off that, my last question for you. You obviously do have the top scoring offense in the league. Based on conference only stats, Omaha, your next opponent, is 4th. They're probably, out of your last 3 games, the best threat, I would say, to keep up with your offense. And they almost got you last time. So you know they're going to be hungry for this win. What Absolutely. Are you looking at, without giving away too much strategy, what are you looking at specifically tomorrow that you hope to see out of your team?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a battle. I mean, they can score it just like you said. They can go deep into their guard position, which I think is something that we have as well, where some of the teams we faced have really dominant post players or can bring in 2, 3, 4 post players, such as South Dakota State, South Dakota. They're really dominant in that post position, but Omaha can really score it at that guard position. They can really shoot the three. They love to get down the lane lines. I'd say they're very similar. They kind of run the dribble drive offense as far as they're really trying to share the ball, give those kickbacks, get down the lane lines. And we just have to be able to honestly be able to guard our offense to a certain extent at a higher level. And then, luckily we're at home, so we've got to be able to put the ball in the hole and score it. I think that when we make threes, it really does help our offense elevate, and we really score at an even higher rate. So that's something we really have to focus on going into our game tomorrow with Omaha, as far as making those three balls. We've got to be able to get to the rim, which we're good at, but we've got to be able to pitch it out, and someone's got to be able to knock down some threes for us. When we make, 8 to 10 threes a game, it really does open things up for us and helps us settle into what we need to do to be successful within our offense. So, executing, I think we also have to rebound harder. We've been, at the beginning of league play, we were up in the, we were rebounding with people, beating people on the boards, but lately we haven't. We have to get back to really focusing on rebounding on both ends of the floor. I know we are pretty good on the offensive boards, but we still have to excel on the defensive end by getting stops and rebounding better. So those are definitely going to be keys for us for tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, folks, Kelsi Musick of ORU Women's Basketball. The Golden Eagles will host Omaha and USD this weekend before traveling to Kansas City next Saturday, fighting to keep that 3 seed. Good luck. I hope it goes well for you. And thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.